Welcome to my first episode of the 244 Angels at Heart interview.
Yeah.
I have a dear friend, uh, my homies from Amsterdam, which we'll get to know more today. So let me give him a proper intro. Some artists make music, others translate emotion. Today, I'm sitting down with an artist who moves between indie, pop, hip hop,
Uh,
R&B,
uh.
and house.
Oh.
But what really matters is how he captures feelings, memories, and identity in every line. From Ghanaian roots to growing up in Germany and England, now based in the Netherlands, this is the journey of Michael Ekow. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is Michael. Thank you. So let's start. Who is
Yes, bro.
Michael beyond the music?
Who is Michael beyond the music? Oh. Um, who is Michael? It's the same Michael. It's the same Michael.
For those who
Um,
don't know you, like, how would you
oh,
define yourself as a person first?
as a person, I think as a person, I'm quite bubbly, I'm quite friendly. Um, I like to explore. I'm very curious about a lot of things, and I like to explore. I'm really um, explorative, especially when it comes to fashion and stuff like that, and sounds. Like I always find that super interesting, with just like what you can mold yourself into, or sort of teach yourself through going through those different experiences. So I think I'm someone who's curious, friendly, stern, and yeah, I feel that.
That's good. You're of Ghanaian descent, as I mentioned.
Yes, sir.
You were also raised in Germany and England,
Yes,
but
sir.
now you are based in Amsterdam. How has that mix shaped who you are? So
Yeah,
maybe you have cultural confusion, the richness in your roots, not fully belonging anywhere. Could be
yeah.
your experience in being of Ghanaian descent, but living, let's say, growing up in, in as a minority, let's say.
Yeah, I don't think it's maybe it's an interesting term, the cultural confusion, because it's like, I was rooted deeply into my culture, so it's like I always, you know what I mean? Like I was always very aware. I'm Ghanaian. We have a Ghanaian way of doing things, but we always so much freedom to like discover other cultures. And I think for me, it was just the most confusion came about from just not being able to actually learn Ghanaian history in school, right? Like when they
Mm-hmm.
start telling you about yourself and talk about the African, it's like it starts off with slavery and all of that kind of shit, and the genocide of West Namibia and like the Berlin Conference and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But no one teaches you about the empires that came before that, about the systems that were in place before that, and um,
The
I think,
religions as well, for example, no?
sorry.
The religions as well, no?
Yeah, exactly. And that religions as well, like it's because Christianity, a white man religion, is Islam is an Arabic religion, right? That was like it was instilled onto Northern Africans and most of West Africa as well through colonialism as well.
Yeah.
So it's just like what is then truly African when we start having that discussion. And I think I spent a lot of my teens just trying to really figure that out and decipher like what does it mean to be African? What does it mean to be attached to a history? What does it mean to have ancestors who've come before you and all of that kind of stuff? And I think in my own research and spending time with that, I managed to understand that you are your own, right? Like you 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 shape yourself, and as you shape yourself, you shape also other people around you in a sense, because it's like the first guy wearing gold on his fingers and stuff like that. Other people might see it and some will be like, that's crazy. Others will say that, oh, that's hard. And
Yeah.
then, the next generation, they're going to start incorporating that. So then the older generation doesn't know that anymore, but the younger one does. And then you see what I'm saying? So then that gets passed forward. So it's like that's that's what culture is, or what tradition is, in my view. It's just like it's things that you can instill, and if it catches on with other people around and it becomes a collective experience, then you're passing it on, but it isn't like a set base of rules that you always have to
How to
follow, and it's
follow.
always has to be this.
Yeah. And if you could say what took the most courage in your life so far, what would it be? This is maybe owning your artistic identity, moving countries, or sharing vulnerable songs, for example. What would you say took the most courage?
I think it took the most courage to be true with myself,
Yeah.
um, about what I want to do in this life. Do you know what I mean? I think a lot of people who've who've got immigration, who've just got a migrant background, it's you always feel very stuck in a way where it's like, um, you know what's expected from you. It's made very, very clear.
Yeah.
And in wanting to do your dream and so forth, and it's like it's sort of countercultural, and especially like with music or something in the art space where it's just like it isn't really respected. It's like we love it, we enjoy it because it's like you can't go to a wedding, to a birthday, to get together without there being music involved. But it's just when you say you want to do music, then it becomes an issue. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I never thought about it like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think that was the thing for me. It was just like it was be able to stand on my own and be like, you know what, I've done what I've had to do. Like I've gone and got my degrees. I've gone and done this and this and that. Like now I want to focus on what I think my life is for.
Yeah. And for you, what's the difference between being talented and being courageous?
Talent. No one needs to know you're talented. Do you know what I mean? Like you could. I don't know. Like I've met some people that've been crazy, crazy vocalists or something like that, but then no one knows that they can sing. Do you know what I mean? The courage in it is putting it in front of people for people to discover you, and it's giving yourself continuously the opportunity to win. That is courageous. Like, um, yeah, putting yourself in a position where you're basically exercising your talent to see what your talent can get you, to put you in exchange of people, and as well it's like what you can give and what you can get out of it. You know what I'm trying to say? So I think that's the part where it becomes courageous, because it's like a lot of the time you'll be thinking to yourself like, who am I to share my book, or who am I to share my song, or da da da, but who are you not to, really? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not really, it's for you, but it's not really for you. I'm the same way, the analogy with that person wearing gold. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
That person putting gold on themselves, it was for them in the moment. Like I feel good about myself, but through doing that, you've given people so many. You know what I mean? You've inspired
Yeah, we're
people
inspired.
to
Yeah.
embrace themselves. Someone might not be like, I like wearing gold, but it's like, oh yeah, maybe I like platinum, or okay, he's doing the gold thing, so maybe I can put beads in my hair or some shit. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
Yeah.
it's just that's the whole point of it, right? You're supposed to allow yourself to completely be you, so you can let another person be themselves.
Okay. So, coming to part two, let's talk about strength, emotional
Yeah,
honesty, and vulnerability. So,
yeah.
your music is poetic and emotional. Has
hmm
it always been easy for you to show your feelings?
Yeah, but I mean, it's. I think over the last few years, it's become a lot more personal than it has been. I think when I was in the church and so forth, I was really focused on like making worship songs and songs that sort of, reflect Christian worship songs or hymns and stuff. But then what I found super interesting was always like the stories behind the hymns, right? There's this one hymn called It Is Well, and it's about this man. I think he was a lawyer in Liverpool or something, and he lost his family on a boat when he was traveling to America, and he wrote the tune like It Is Well, like he lost his wife, his businessman, or some shit like that. And there's this beautiful hymn about him just trusting in God and thinking to himself like, you know what, my life has fallen apart, but my belief in my savior will carry me through. And I thought it was so beautiful that that's a message that was instilled in the song. But then, like in a way, I want to make songs like that. Hopefully, with not as much pain, but just so truthful to your experience of life. Because I
Yeah.
think that's the best kind of song that can come about. It's like it's so truthful to experience of life that it's like a soundtrack to life.
Yeah. And in our cultures, or also in many cultures,
Yeah.
men are told to be strong and not show emotion. What does
Yeah.
strength mean to you now?
Strength is owning your emotion. Do you know what I mean? Strength is owning your emotion. Like this, it's I think we just live in a different age, and to own how you're feeling is part of the experience. I think in neglecting that, you put yourself in a difficult position. Do you know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? Because it's like you don't decide what you feel, you just feel it. That's life. What you do with the feeling is where you have your choice.
You
But you
control,
know what I'm
yeah.
trying to say?
Yeah.
Like you have to experience it. You have to know what jealousy is. You have to know what envy is. You have to know what anger is. Not just all the good shit, but like you know what I mean? Like it's a full palette. Like
Yeah.
you if you can't feel the shit, you can't tell yourself that you're strong, you know? Because that's the real test. Is like you I'm sorry, but like I'm rambling a little bit, but it's like
Good.
you run the same shit on loop, right? It's like when you're born and when you're like a kid, and then all of these emotions, but you never know why. You don't understand it. It just feels overwhelming. Like the first time when you feel fear, you know it's dangerous and stuff, but you can't explain it to yourself what makes it dangerous or
Yeah.
why you feel a certain type of way, or like maybe when someone falls and they've hurt themselves and then you start laughing and then you know what I'm trying to say. You're not happy that they've hurt themselves, but you start thinking stuff like, why am I actually laughing at this? Why do I actually find it funny?
Yeah.
And then it's like it just all the emotions are the same, but it's life just brings different stages of difficulty for us to discover or rediscover these emotions and see like, do we really have we mastered them? Do we understand what they are? Do we understand the importance of feeling them but not identifying with them? And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what makes you strong. You feel me?
That's a beautiful way of putting it as well, or redefining strength. Can you tell me about a song where you felt more, sorry, can you tell me about a song where you felt
Mm.
almost too exposed, but released it anyway? It's kind of funny because I wrote
Yeah,
these questions before we had the conversation that we had, but
yeah,
maybe without sharing too much, a song that you felt like um, you kind of needed that strength to release it because it was hard to put it to the world, to people really see your full emotions, let's say.
yeah. There've been many, man, but I think like one of the ones that marked my journey was Jamunia, and I wrote this record about 5 years ago, and I put it on the first EP that I made in May called "You Don't Know What's Going On, Talk to Me Now." And the opening line of the song is, "Am I too dark to be beautiful? Am I too much of a man to feel?"
Yeah.
Um, comatose, spending life in his cubicle. Snow, can you tell me what is real? And it was just like those were, growing up here where it's like growing up in Europe, sorry, I mean, and growing up in places where it's predominantly white, and then you are not the beauty standard, and you're very aware that you're not the beauty standard. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
I think even back then when we were younger, obviously we didn't know, but how colorism is such a thing within our community. Do you know what I mean? And it goes both sides, where it's like how someone who's of two different ethnic groups, they'll say like, "Oh, you aren't this enough," or
Yeah.
someone who's like my complexion and it's like, "Oh, you're too dark." But then it's like, so what are you supposed to be? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, what else am I supposed to be? Like, I am black, right? That's I thought that was the whole thing. Um, so I had to come to an understanding of myself with that. Where I think in my earlier childhood, I was like, "Oh, well, how does this feel?" But then it's like at a certain point you realize, like, no, this is who I am. I am
Mm-hmm.
African. I am supposed to look like I'm supposed to look like, and I'm beautiful in my own skin.
Yeah.
And like being the same thing we are just talking about the emotions as a man. It's just like, yes, and I feel a lot of things. I'm very sensitive. That's why I make art. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
otherwise I wouldn't bother. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. So that was one of the records for me where I was like, wow, I'm putting these are thoughts that I'd usually just have with myself, but now putting them on a record was like, yeah, it's not just my reality, it's a lot of people's reality. And for people who it isn't their reality, it's interesting to listen into that reality because now you're like, oh wow, this is a leaf out of what your experience is like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I feel like with emotion, for example, not in an art way, but Ronaldo always said like they used to call him a crybaby, and he was like, I can't lie. When I want to cry, I want to cry because I love the sport so much, you know. And when I lose, I
Yeah,
don't like. So it's not like he couldn't hide his emotion. And even now, he's 40 years old and he could still cry. And he says like it's completely okay if you really love something.
yeah,
Emotions are gonna happen that you can't have control over. So,
100. But like,
so
why not cry? That's like it's a thing that a human can do, and it's not
yeah,
like it's a bad thing, right? It's just like
it actually
we care.
relieves you from pain.
Yeah.
So my next question too is, how do you turn pain or confusion into something beautiful in your music?
Yeah, I journal my emotions or like I turn them into poems. So if I'm feeling strongly about something, I start to write it down,
Yeah,
and I start to write down my thoughts about it and so forth. And most of the time that's like what then will like inspire a record or inspire me to like talk about a record because it's like, you know, I feel like life goes in the same thing we were talking about stages is like you run in a loop of understanding, right? So once you complete the loop of your understanding, you move on to the next loop. And I feel like that's what my music sort of is. It's like you're feeling these bunch of emotions, and I'm feeling a bunch of things right now um, regarding androgyny, regarding fashion, regarding hedonism, spirituality, and so and there now I'm running a loop of understanding what these certain things mean right now for me in my life. Do you know what I mean? So that's
yeah,
exactly what my music is super focused on of like um yeah, how am I under how what is my understanding of this now? Like what is my or how do I feel about this now? Because obviously people want to make you feel a type of way about you being you, but then it's like the whole thing in this life is always like, yeah, you should be yourself, man. You should do
yeah.
this, but then you are yourself, and then everyone's like, you're a fucking weirdo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they themselves like I think everyone goes through phases in life where it's like you'll never fully understand who you are as a person because we're always evolving.
Yeah,
Uh, what you can do is be okay with the person that you are today and not
yeah,
focus um, on who you were or who you can become. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Exactly. That's like that's the funny thing about like identity and shit like that, right? Because it's like someone asks you, "Who are you?" and then you start listing a bunch of shit, right? I had this conversation with someone the other day, and a lot of this time it's like is rooted in identity of ourselves is rooted so much in like um, consumerism,
yeah,
or uh, yeah, like I think most of it's consumerism because like, oh yeah, I am this, I am that, I am this. And the only way of channeling these things is like you habitually practice it, but it's like you're not it. It's just what you're experiencing at that moment,
yeah,
right? Like you just are, right? Like today I am feeling okay. Tomorrow I might be angry. Today I am this and this and this and this. Tomorrow I am that. You know what I'm trying to say? But
yeah.
the point of the strong identification of what we do and so forth and da 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 da, that is, I think, yeah, it's an interesting notion of finding ourselves.
Yeah. So let's move on to part three, which is about determination.
Ooh,
We'll talk about craft, discipline, and also the future. So, what keeps you going on days when the music industry feels heavy or discouraging?
um, the desire to be the greatest. Yeah,
Simple, but I love it. And
yeah,
I'm sure those who also would like to start music or are doing music already um, can get inspired by this simple phrase as well. You move sonically between indie, pop, hip hop, R&B, and house. Does that ever make things harder in an industry that loves labels?
yeah, 110%, right? Like,
Because it's
oftentimes,
hard to box you in into something.
yeah, 110%. Oftentimes, it's like that's the same thing with the identification, right? What I'm talking about is like, oh, you're this kind of artist, or you're this kind of da da da. It's like, no, you know, you. sort of express yourself and you can feel what you feel,
Yeah.
right? Like it's like you listen to the Love Below from Andre 3000, and it's like it's bro, it's so much different shit in just one album, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And then it's like you're just gonna label him as this, like he creates stuff, bro. You know, and it's as simple as that. That's just what it is. You might like expressing yourself more in one sector. That's absolutely fine, but it doesn't mean you can't explore other ones. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And I think that's what my difficulty's been sometimes, where it's like it's the most palatable way for people to understand. It's like you are an EDM artist, or you're a hip hop artist, or you're this kind of artist. But it's just like no, I'm making art in these spaces
I
as
can
I
flow
feel, as I
between.
express, as I was
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
Yeah. And what does your discipline look like behind the scenes?
hmm
Your routine, studio habits, or how often you create?
Yeah. So I try to get myself to create every day. So that's either writing. I'm trying to learn how to play the guitar at the moment. So I'm like, now I have the time to play. But I just keeping it active, right? It's like doing something every day so I can move forward. Sometimes, if I can, I have periods where then I'm just recording every day, but then sometimes I can't because we're playing a bit too much and so forth in between. Um, but it's just keeping everything in a loop. But the most important part, it just starts with me. It's like always, I can always write today. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I can always uh, try some new melodies, or like, yeah, try some new sentences. Like that's the main thing. Just always make sure I can express myself.
Okay. And what's the vision? Where do you see Michael Echo in 5 years if your
Oh,
determination, well, not if, when your determination pays off?
thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you. Um, yeah, bro. I wanna play Wembley. You know, I wanna sell out Wembley. Um, Ideally, that would be what could make it happen. Is being able to play there, man. It's like
Yeah.
there's this video that I love to watch, and it's Michael Jackson playing at Wembley, I think in '88 or '89, and it's an insane show, right? It's like 80,000 capacity, like 88,000 capacity, and it's like it's an incredible achievement to get there,
Yeah.
and that is where I want to be. You know, inshallah, God willing, I can make it in 5 years. If it takes a little longer, no worries, but I will get there. You
Yeah.
know, that's
As
that's
long
that's
as
the
you
goal.
get there. Exactly.
Yeah.
And what does being an angel of at heart mean to you personally? Um,
Oh, oh, good question. Um, it's about being pure, man. That thing we were talking about just earlier on, just like be you. You know what I mean? Like, and in every true facet of being you, in the way you articulate yourself, in the way you might clothe yourself, or in the way you might design yourself, in the way you, yeah, like just your interests and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
allowing yourself to be you without all of this stuff of like, oh, you're this and this, so you have to do this, or you're within this scene, so now you can't like this. You know what I'm trying to say? Where it's like, no, embrace your humanness. Embrace all the different facets of yourself, or all the different multitudes of it is to be yourself. And I think that's what's being an angel at heart. Is not trying to be something you're not.
Perfect. I will use this as a in the future for one of my trailers because you put it beautifully. So thank you, Michael. So let's get into
Shout
the
244, baby.
thank you. Shout out 244. So let's go to the last part, which is a little more fun, quick fire round.
Oh
And
yeah.
these are words that, first pop up to your mind.
hmm
So the first one is one word that describes you today.
One word that describes me today.
Today.
Today, me.
Boom. A song of yours everyone should listen to first.
Um, it isn't out yet, but Pretty Boys.
Okay. Indie, pop, hip hop, R&B, or house. You have to pick one forever.
All of them.
Okay. Most emotional song you've ever written.
Oh, most emotional tune I've ever written. I'll probably say Pretty Boys. I'll probably say Pretty Boys actually. Yeah.
A line lyric you're proud of. And this you can recite if you want.
Oh, okay. Line or lyric I'm most proud of. Okay. I think it's the opening one for Pretty Boys, and it goes, if I saw myself through your eyes, would I still fall in love?
Okay. Germany, England, or the Netherlands? Where do you feel most at home?
I'll say the Netherlands, Amsterdam right now, yeah.
Ghanaian dish you'd recommend to everyone?
Oh, jollof rice with tilapia and plantain, and you gotta have some stew with it as well. So it's a big one, but bro, what? Crazy.
No bev? No beverage?
No beverage, just real
Water, water.
water, just water. Maybe a little bit of sparkling water, but but just pure, yeah.
Okay. One thing people would be surprised to know about you.
I started doing kickboxing, I think, yeah. So yeah, I started doing kickboxing.
Okay. Finish the sentence. Real strength is.
All strength is allowing yourself to be.
Another one. Finish the sentence. Being an angel at heart is.
Being an unfiltered version of yourself.
Boom. So we have a final question for you, and this is, if you
Yes.
can look at the camera, this is for those who want to take the same path as you. If someone watching this feels lost, emotionally overwhelmed, or like they don't belong anywhere, what would you tell them?
What a deep question. None of us belong anywhere. What would you say, bro? Might as well do something.
I love this. His laugh, bro. But yeah, thank you for showing us that courage can look like vulnerability, that strength can sound like poetry, and that determination is choosing to keep creating even when nobody's clapping just yet. This was
Yes.
Michael Ekow, an angel at heart. Thank you so much for being such a good friend of mine, for
Love,
being a
brother, likewise.
brother, for having my back, and for
Love,
supporting the
likewise.
vision. I know that this is not just the last time we will be collaborating. We will do many, many more projects together,
100.
especially because I love music, you love music, we
Yeah.
both love fashion as well.
Yes.
And we come from different backgrounds but have the same heart, which is why I appreciate you so much. And
Lovely.
I hope that this video inspires many, many other girls and boys to follow their dream of making music, of not feeling boxed in, of just, creating the art that they're supposed to be creating. And
100.
yeah, so if you want to also promote anything, this is your moment. Please do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check out 244 Angels at Heart. My boy is gonna bring the best wave out, man. Love.
Thank you. And for yourself as well. I know you have Patrick Swayze out.
Yes, go check out Patrick Swayze. Go check out the music. Man.
What are your your Instagram?
Oh, at Michael and then 3KOW. The same thing on TikTok and on Spotify or whatever streaming platform. It's replace the 3 with an E, and there you go.
Okay, I'll put all his links down in the description. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Kevin and Michael 244 and Michael Ekow and Hustler Money Maker. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure that you subscribe, follow all our pages to keep on supporting us, because we're gonna keep on coming with more music, more fashion, more of everything, more love to this world, more inspiration. So thank you so much for watching, and yes, until next time.
Can I hear a hustler, money maker? Hustler, money maker. The cracks in my love, the pieces pushing me apart. The cracks in my love.